Hello, I'm Ted Wright, manager of the Cloister. So often people ask, what makes the Cloister a special place? What sets us apart from other fine resorts? The answer is really quite simple. It's a tradition of people, a family, if you will, that includes both you, our guest, and all of us who are here to serve you. This film is dedicated to that special family, with thanks for helping to create the Sea Island experience.
Come walk with me a while here by the sea. I'd like to explore an idea with you before it scatters, unexpressed and unremembered. I'll say it right out. Have you not felt there is a certain falsity abounding in our lives? I mourn the passing of things that are real. Once I held a cello in my hands and it made me rather sad, because I'm told they can produce its sound electronically now. Few ears can tell the difference. But what of the feel of the wood? The richness of the finish? The purity of the curves? The cello, like all things fine and beautiful, is a total experience. A blending of delights for the senses and for the soul. So let electronics and synthetics hurl us to the planets. This is right and proper. But for the performance of Mozart, please, I'd prefer the cello. And so there you have the substance of the thoughts that have been wandering in my mind. People have asked why I love this place and why I return year after year, as often as I can. And it's not an easy question to answer. But it has to do with the fact that the experience here is very real and like no other. In a world where one rarely touches any material not refined from petroleum, where experiences are packaged and life is led like a tour, where gamesmanship is a virtue and innocence a vice, where friendships are rare and happiness elusive. In a world that often seems to rush by faster than I would wish, it feels good to be here, beneath the great oaks older than I am, to be refreshed and cleansed and renewed at a place where I feel comfortable, among people whose company I treasure. I mourn the passing of things that are real. Not that I would go back in time to some mythical Camelot. Dubious dream. The good old days is a notion of greater falsity than almost any other. With all its faults, I would rather live now, by far. And I would rather be here on this small and lovely island off the coast of Georgia than any place else I know. Sea Island is enormously special, a beautiful place to be, if only for a little while. To feel again those enduring values, those graceful pleasures, those cherished friendships that are so very real and abiding here. Of course, there is something about any island that touches the wanderer in our spirit. That part of us that would explore worlds other than our own. Mysterious shores. That sense of being removed from the ordinary, isolated from the familiar, in tune with fundamental natural rhythms, either half forgotten or half remembered. But Sea Island is not one of those quick and exotic isles of Gauguin or Melville or Conrad. Here one finds a softer reality. Eugene O'Neill wrote Our Wilderness in a Cottage here, but it is not so wild as natural and very old. As one moves beneath the green Gothic splendor of ancient oaks, one can feel people have been here a very long time. There is a powerful sense of continuity. The cloister stands here on the island like a refined old gentleman whose spirit is young and very alive. The only hotel on the Isle, it has been here for generations. Here you walk beneath trees planted by President Coolidge and by Queen Juliana of the Netherlands. And there is a feeling that greatness has been attracted to this place between the Atlantic and the gentle marshes of Glynn. Royalty, statesmen, celebrities of every art, from politics to theater, have been drawn to this fabled isle. Yet one rarely knows they're here, for each guest is treated with the same graceful warmth that welcomes every other, whether king or commoner, president or private citizen. There is a timeless quality to this legendary resort. I sometimes feel cast loose in time. I know my grandfather came here, walked among the live oak and magnolia, the cedar and Japanese holly. He felt the same cool shadows I feel now, listened to the sound of finches singing in the solarium, was served a planter's punch by the same friendly face who serves me now, and may well one day serve my son. The beauty of this place is its relationship to time. It rings through the years like an anthem, clear and right and real. There is a continuity here, and there is also a rather rare and refreshing quality of permanence. So much in our time seems temporary, transitory, chimerical. The Cloister is the heart of a firmly established human community. Nearly 500 homes reflecting an astonishing range of design. There is a close bond between the permanent residents and the hotel. Guests of the resort are made to feel a part of the community as well. Each time I return, in a very real way, it's like coming home again to a very special family. For instance, people remember my name. A little thing, but it's important, I think. And it's not that they're instructed to remember. It's more as if they simply wanted to. It's one of those things you can count on year after year. Like the same table in the dining room, the same waitress, our favorite room, the clean breath of fresh linen blended with the scent of magnolia blossoms outside my window. Standards of courtesy and taste that are unchanged over the years. Service so beautifully thoughtful and personal that it seems a natural extension of your desire. I suppose these are things one should expect at one of the world's rare five-star hotels. But there is a transcendent magic here that is difficult to describe. It's a way of life that touches a responsive chord somewhere inside. It's a little like experiencing the sound and the shape and the feel of the cello. A total experience. A blending of delights for the senses and for the soul. Sometimes tranquil, sometimes passionate, always beautiful. A century ago, Mark Twain said, "Golf is a good walk spoiled." A half a century ago, the legendary Bobby Jones called this one of the greatest golf courses in the world. Today, even Mark Twain might enjoy the Sea Island course, for if anything, its reputation for excellence has only grown through the years. One of the extraordinary things about Sea Island and the Cloister is the opportunity to be a verb, to do, to explore, to be in motion. Here is a carousel of things to do. Of course, there is golf and tennis and swimming, and there is the sea with its endless expanse of beach. But I remember more subtle delights. I remember riding a horse along the beach and feeling a sense of harmony with the world I've seldom felt before. I remember feeling the awesome power of the Sea Island marshes, endless and mysterious. I remember a dinner served by the sea. There was singing, and the night held us in its velvet palm. I remember seeing my children, not through the eyes of a father, but through the eyes of a friend. and being pleased at what I saw. And I remember seeing my wife through the eyes of a lover and being pleased at who I loved. I remember feeling that we were together, my family, and we knew who we were, that our lives would be good and no harm would come our way. Then I remember celebrating an unfamiliar wine in an old familiar room. I remember being in love with the life that I lived, with the moment, with this bewitching isle beyond the marshes of the Georgia shore. And that brings me back to why I love this place, this isle, this grand resort. To feel those enduring values, those graceful pleasures, those cherished friendships that are so real and abiding here. But there is a mystery. There is so much that is timeless and unchanging here. Yet the experience is somehow new each year, each day, each moment. The resort evolves through time. It is a process. Its excellence a journey, not a destination. Even now, as I think about Sea Island, I marvel at its ability to create change within the unchanging. I suppose it's like a sunrise, something you can count on no matter what. It will rise each morning, come what may. Continuity itself. Nature's great clock ticking through time, binding us together. It is an unchanging pattern, this birth of day. Yet no two are quite the same. Each is experienced anew, fresh and fine and real. And that's why I love this beautiful isle, this fine and gracious hotel. Let electronics and synthetics hurl us to the planets. But for the performance of Mozart, I'd prefer to experience the cello.